More. Let's talk about fish. Let's talk about fish. Let's talk about fish, baby. Let's talk about you and me. Let's talk about all the good things and the bad things that make fish. Let's talk about fish.
Well, good morning, good morning. How are we all? We've been having scintillating conversations in the chat this morning. I dare say that will persist among us. Joey was up a little earlier. She's struggling with the legs. I don't know quite what the issue is, but it looks like here's Joey.
Good morning.
Morning, how are you?
I'm doing pretty well, Father Fish. How about you?
Good. Delightful to see you this morning.
Oh, thank you. And good morning, everyone in the show. Thank you for coming in. I didn't even get here early enough to do any of the individual hellos like I do early. So, here we go. We need to say some hellos.
Well, we were having scintillating conversations about religion this morning.
Oh, okay.
It was interesting. It was fun.
Good. I was trying to get
no acrimony at all.
Good. Good. So should we say some hellos?
Absolutely.
All right. Well, at the top of my screen, like I said, I know it cuts off all your conversation. But anyway, good morning. Yeah. I'm going to say good morning and hello because we're in different parts of the world. But anyway, Water Culture is here, Fish and Tactics, Roman Chirac, Glass Box Fox. And then I'm scrolling because, Corona Karen, Naresh is here. I see Petro Man, Joe. Father Fish is in here a lot. This guy named Father Fish is in this chat a lot. One Wanderer. And you guys like to chit chat in the morning. Steph is here. Richie, right. Patrick Polson, Daria.
Soul Fishing. Hello, hello.
Willie Beck.
Craig the Guppy Guy.
Mr. B CPDs.
Patrick Murphy.
Dennis Lord.
Roman Chirac. You said Roman, I'm sure.
I did. That's okay. Frugal Aquatics. Welcome to you.
Sue-Ann is here. Hi, Sue-Ann.
Nice. Fun with fish and falconry. Good morning.
Trying not to get in trouble with the earbud. So
Joshua.
Again. Cody the Libertarian. Hello, Cody.
And Chris is here. I think you said Sue.
The sister is here.
Yes, she
is. Joey, I really appreciate your family support. You girls really hang together. That's very nice.
We do, and there's been some days where all three of my sisters were in here.
I know. Yeah.
I've had a couple of nieces come in. I even had my niece's little boy come in a couple of times. So yeah, we try to support. Good morning, Bill and Bruiser. Good morning. But Steffi's pretty regular.
I'm fuzzy. Yeah, I'm working on. I've got to contact my service provider. There's a signal problem. I'm getting a very weak signal.
Yeah. You were better before we started. It was clearer, and now somehow it's
And now
gone
it's
back.
fuzzy again. Yeah. Too much.
Fuzzy.
Yeah.
Hi, David. Fellows. Welcome.
So I will work on that today. I want you to know I finished up all of the pack outs, all the dirt and all the mugs.
Oh,
And
good.
it's going in the mail today. So all of it, all I have to do is carry it over there.
Very good.
And book it in.
Did you work for the night?
Yeah, well, half the day yesterday.
Yeah. Hello, Andres.
I got it all done.
Yeah. Yes, Broadcast Solutions. Present. Yes, because we are taking it.
Andres Alvarado, Bruiser CB, Bill Witt.
Yes, and
Wait,
James.
Monday morning is kind of coming out of the woodwork.
Yeah, and I know. Welcome, James, and thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you for taking us, and thank you all for being here so much.
You
and if
bet.
you can give Father Fish a thumbs up while you're in here, that would be amazing.
Yeah, we got 40 watching and 19 thumbs up.
So I'll just reminding you to hit the like button. So anyway,
we had was it us or somebody else? Can't remember. Somebody had 6 thumbs down yesterday.
Oh, that was us for last night. I think we had 6 thumbs down. They loved us last night.
I guess it was a bad picture. I don't know.
I
thought you were joyous. I was kind of.
Thank you.
I went back and looked at it. Not only was I fuzzy looking, I was fuzzy acting.
I mean, if this has only been the past couple of days that somehow you've gotten more fuzzy. Roman wants to know if it's because of the nesting eagles. I mean, maybe.
Yeah, likely, right.
I'm gonna blame it on the eagles.
I'm sure it is. They've not gotten back to me.
Right. We're not the eagles, the dinger. Those eagles up on the pole.
Stephanie thinks it's funny. Fortunately, your sister does too, or I'd be in deep water.
Anyway.
Lee is out house hunting.
Oh, good for Lee. And
Lee's sold his home, and they're looking for, I don't know what their move out date is or close date, but they're out there. I hope they're not in a panic about it.
Well, I mean, I guess it depends on when their move out date is, whether they're
right.
Good morning, Chevy Fish. Thanks for coming in.
Andre, a pleasure to have you.
And this one that I struggle with, this lower 99. Good morning. There's some names that I absolutely struggle with.
Lori A99. Yeah, that is a funny one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Chevy Fish. Hello, Chevy Fish. And Fun Falconry is here.
Yes.
What a crew. What a crew. I'm here to tell you.
What a show.
Right.
But, James was thanking us for the event. Well, thank you. And as I said, thank you all, because obviously we like to talk about fish. We like to joke around, but we also like to talk about fish,
Frugal is saying I confused Barramundi with Arowana. You're right, I did. And I do that routinely, and I'm not sure why I do it. I know they're not the same, and not even.
They're not.
Thinking about the Saratoga, that's a little different. But yeah, I think the reason I do it is because the Barramundi here in the States is a rare exotic, just virtually impossible to get. I had a friend once who I met online. I don't remember. It was while I was on Aqua bed. Strange guy who told me stories about bringing Barramundi into the country in bottles of wine, in cases of wine, smuggling them in cases of wine. I thought that was pretty interesting.
I told you I smuggled a betta in a little teeny water bottle 2 years ago. I took it on the plane in a water bottle on my carry-on to bring it home.
Right, right.
Not wine bottles, but I did sneak one on. Good morning, Julian.
People have done funny things. I had a friend, a woman who was a missionary in Haiti, who smuggled birds in to her compound in Haiti from South America by stuffing them in her coat. That was long before 9/11.
Well, I was going to say now, of course, they scan everything, and it's harder to get away from that. Oh, yeah. Thank you, Willie Beck.
Thank you, Willie Beck, very much.
Thank you. Yeah, but that's why I was like, I'm just going to try this, and I just, I had it in my carry-on with all, my stuff, and I'd taken. It was one of those little teeny ones like they give you on the airplane, and and I had it not even
like a liter.
Not even full of water, and had it in my carry-on. They just scanned it, went right through.
Funny. You got a worm in your nose there. Right. They probably thought it was a worm in your.
It was just in there, it was just in there sitting by my makeup bag and all my other things, and it obviously was nothing that was an alert to them, and they just looked at it and sent it through,
What is that little creature? Willie Beck has got a screen jumping up and down. That's cute.
I don't know. It looks like a little...
A monitor?
Like a little monitor or I don't know. I'm not sure. Tell us what it is.
So Joey's a felon. 1L in felon, Falcon. All your reps got the best of you.
I mean, I live right on the edge. That's... Smuggling
a smuggler, he says. Smuggler.
He's a bootlegger.
Stephanie's saying,
I really liked that betta and thought I'd give a shot.
Andres wants to know if the betta's still with you.
No, I actually bred it and had some fry out of it. It was a male. And no, he ended up, passing. But such is life, right?
Game controller.
I had more than one just jump out and commit suicide as hard as you try not to have that happen.
I know, they do, don't they?
A fish meal. Come on, TJ. Come on. I'm not that bad.
There you go.
I'm a good witch.
Where Carter got you nailed now. It's a slippery slope, isn't it?
I didn't use well, no, air from my lungs wouldn't exactly be good oxygen. I just dumped out. It probably had like not quite a half of a bottle of water, maybe a third. So there's plenty of air in there. But you know what I did do? I was worried about it getting too pressurized in the cabin. So once we got going and you could get in your bags, I was kind of holding it and kind of releasing the air.
That's funny.
I didn't need it exploding, right?
Well, if they had come back and looked, you could have chug-a-lugged it.
I'm not that brave. Yeah, I don't think I could do that.
It's throwing use your lungs as a pump.
Written a song, Glenn says
Really?
I've written a song.
It probably did.
That's funny. Funny. I think I also brought home some snails in that same batch. I had those done in paper towels and rolled up and just
so where were you? You got all these.
Oh, we went down to Orlando because we like to go to the Mecum auction, the car auction, the big auction that they have at the Heritage Park. And
that's quick. That's a massive auction too.
I
love that.
Yeah, so we would go down. That was a big thing we like to do, and go down because we're in the car business. And we would go down to the car auction and then hang out. And we always would go to Disney World, for a couple days. And I just hit one of the pet stores, and they happened to have this koi betta that I liked and some snails that I liked. So I just gave it a shot. So it worked. I got them all home. So That's my big story about sneaking fish around. I've told it before. But it's fun.
Water Culture said their channel is officially famous. MD Fish just commented on it.
Good for you.
What did he say? It matters. Actually, it doesn't matter.
No, because everybody says, you know, even though we got a lot of thumbs down, everybody says it doesn't matter to YouTube, it's interaction. So it's like, okay. You know, so any comment's a good comment because somebody took the time to comment. Yeah. So.
Yeah, I don't want to get into that.
Falcon refresh. Oh, I kept a bar of soap from the hotel once.
Right.
Ooh,
she is a bad girl.
That's a bad crime.
Falconry. Depends on the kind of soap, I think.
Yeah. Oh, he says said the tank looks good and he thinks we should add more Rotalia. Yeah.
Oh, who's he talking? Oh, that's wonderful. He's talking about MD. Oh, that's wonderful.
You asked what the comment was.
Good job.
Yeah.
Good job.
Good morning, Greg the Guppy Guy.
Nice.
I don't know if anybody else snuck in here.
Well, what you're doing is super impressive, guys.
Oh, it's beautiful. It is.
It really is impressive. I'm not at all surprised MD would take an interest.
Yeah.
Right on track with his approach.
Right. Good morning, Schwans. Good morning.
Now let me get back to this thing. Water Culture asked yesterday about anoxic, and we managed to avoid dealing with it.
Yeah, can we come back to that in a second, Father Fish? Aqua Daughters. Okay. Hello. Well, I just want to read this. Hello, all. This is Aquarium Cop's daughter, Laura, and I'm hanging out with my dad's fish. He has a Father Fish mug in the tank, so I thought I would stop by here. Welcome.
Thank you, Aqua Daughters. Delighted to have you here. Laura.
It's wonderful that you're here, and you know we all loved you, Dad.
Yes.
So, thank you. And you need to give her.
Decided to take care of her dad's fish.
Yeah, that's
quite a collection. So that was no small task.
Right.
Wonderful to have you here. And I just gave you a wrench, Aqua Daughters.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
So you are now
all sorry.
You are now blue and among us, and delighted to have you here. Yeah, I
how much we all.
I did a little eulogy on my homepage for your dad, and it's still up. I can't take it down yet. It's been up. What's it been? A week, almost 2 weeks. I'm going to leave it up a little longer. It just your dad touched me in ways that very few other people ever really have. And I think it's because he was comfortable calling me and talking with me at really critical moments in his life. You know, when he was excited or depressed or confused or joyous or whatever it was, I would get a call from him. And sometimes if I didn't get it, if I couldn't take the call, I could not get back to him. Because I guess he was still on the phone. I don't know. But he was such an intense man. And I guess that really explained his work, his relationships, just everything about him. He was an enormously intense person whose emotions were right out in front of him. I mean, he never tried to cover up or hide how he felt or what he was thinking. He was really right out front, which I found remarkable for a guy who worked professionally as an undercover cop, where he had to protect his true identity. because he was not at all a person who tried to hide anything. Just a remarkable man. I loved him deeply, and took great joy in our relationship.
Yeah. And Laura, when I was new to the show, your dad bought me one of the Father Fish mugs on the show one day through PayPal. He bought this for me.
Sure did.
And I will cherish it.
Sure did.
Good morning, or hello, Naresh. So anyway, you want to talk about the anoxic question that
I do. Water culture asked about this yesterday, and I kind of put off dealing with it.
Yeah.
It's sort of a sensitive topic, and what I'm not altogether comfortable talking about, because I have negative feelings about it and negative attitudes about it. And they're based on a couple of different things. Certainly not in any way based on Dr. Novak or his presence on YouTube. He is by any measure a very gentle man, a very kind man, and one who does not speak ill of others. And so it is not my desire at all to speak ill of him, and I will not. What I find with the whole issue of anoxia and anoxic filtration, however, is frankly, every time it comes up, I'm troubled by it. And I guess the simplest thing I can say about it is that it seeks to deal with an issue that, for me, is a non-issue. And that is the issue of nitrates. In my conversations with Stephen the biologist, and the research his laboratory has done on nitrates, plus my own experience with nitrates, I have never found nitrates to be of any concern whatsoever in an aquarium, regardless of their level. So I can appreciate setting up a filtration system in a large pond like a koi pond in an effort to control nitrates, particularly where there are a large number of very big fish in a large outdoor pond. That certainly could be an issue, particularly when those fish can be worth thousands of dollars, and every effort is made to keep them as healthy as possible. The research done by various koi clubs and organizations in England studying this system found that essentially what it creates is a nitrate sink. Now, a sink is a media that absorbs certain elements, and it absorbs them up to its capacity. Once it reaches that capacity, it no longer absorbs them. And this was the problem that those groups discovered with this system. It worked for a while, and then it didn't. So there's that issue. But the bottom line for me is I have developed in conjunction with a number of scientists and a number of traditions, including the planted aquarium. I use a deep dirt system and I cap it with sand. Now the cap is my adaptation, and I do that simply to prevent the nutrients that are in the soil from getting into the water column at an alarming rate. They get in, but at a much more controlled rate. Let me pick up this.
I would say Father for Broadcast Illusions.
Thank you.
Became a member.
Yes, thank you so much. So what I have discovered is that the deep substrate controls nitrates by putting those nitrates through a biological cycle that burns them up, that uses them as plant material. So it winds up being a system far more effective than simply creating a sink that will absorb up to a point and then stop absorbing. In addition to which, as I said, I've found in my experience that nitrates are simply never a problem. They can get pretty high and still not be a problem. And they're the simplest thing in the world to control. You just do a water change, and that knocks it in half or whatever, depending on the water you put in. So that's my thing about anoxia, right?
Hello, Compass Memphis.
Yeah, hello, yeah, Monster Fish Gal. Hello, hello.
There's been a few people tried to say some hellos in the chat. Yes.
We're up to 64 and 41. Pardon?
Lori, Monster Fish Gal, is it your birthday today?
Really?
Well, somebody just said, am I right? So I was just wondering.
I don't know.
Is that true?
The Lee's birthday was last week, I think.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Water Culture says he runs nitrate deprivation when he wants red to come out of the stem plants. That's interesting.
Oh, wow. Okay, so happy birthday, Lori. Hope you have a fun day and that you get to do something fun. It's hard these days sometimes.
Rohan wants me to make that little discussion into a video. Naresh, did you pick up on that? If you could do that, please.
He's right in here. So.
Pardon? He's in here, yeah. Naresh is a remarkable young man. He informed me the other day he's 19 years old. Naresh lives in Sri Lanka.
I was going to say, I think he's 19.
Pardon?
Yeah, he's 19. Yeah, I didn't know if you had seen that.
Right. Lives in a little village in Sri Lanka, and began working on. Oh, that's interesting. Water Culture saying nitrate deprivation deactivated the enzyme produced by the gene responsible for green chlorophyll. Son of a gun. Wow. Isn't that interesting? Anyway, Naresh started doing a few things for me on my channel, and I liked what he did, so I asked him to do a few more, and then put him under contract. So this young man, he informed me the other day that this was his first paying job. So I am delighted and thrilled and honored to be able to support him in work that he's doing that is just making an enormous difference in my channel and in what we're doing here. He's doing something I've wanted to do for a long time, which is to pull out some of these little jewels or whatever they are in the streams and post them as standalone videos. And he's doing that. Plus, he's going back and looking at going way back, looking into the Wayback Machine, looking at some older videos and bringing them back to date. So I am delighted and thrilled that Naresh is on the team.
Absolutely, doing a great job. And I mean, you know, that video he made for you as a tribute to the store is wonderful.
Oh, that's beautiful.
And he did that. He did that out of his love for you. That was way before any of the. Yeah. That was very sweet. Good morning.
Yeah,
Julian.
that was not a contract job. That's something that
right.
that was part of what drew me to him, I think. Yeah, very much so.
Yeah. So, and I wish we could turn him blue. I feel bad about that.
I know we cannot turn him blue. And the reason we cannot turn him blue is the same reason I can't turn blue, which is that apparently that we are managers on the site, and as such, it doesn't work. G is here. Who is G? I have G in the waiting room. Any idea?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
I personally.
And there are no devices connected. I'm simply seeing an icon there. So,
yeah.
One of the things that I will not do is bring anyone onto the channel who I do not know and have not had prior contact with. That doesn't mean you have had to be up for a while, but you need to be someone who is known on the chat, in the forums in some way. I simply will not bring up an absolute unknown person who is otherwise unidentified. It's not healthy for my channel to do it, and I have no reason to do it. So, yeah, rest assured, if you're active on the channel, you're engaged, you're conversational, we've talked to you and gotten to know you a little bit, you're more than welcome to come up on the screen. We will happily introduce you and enjoy your audio visual time with us. But for someone who's utterly unknown, I'm simply not willing to do that, and I hope that's understandable.
Compass Mentos has a nice comment. Father Fish and Joey, you are having a bad effect on me. I'm finishing work early as often as possible to catch your streams. Well, we don't want to get you in trouble at work, but we really appreciate your support.
Really.
And always happy to see you. But don't get in trouble at work.
Right. It's not worth your time.
Hannah?
You can always watch it on the rebound, Compass Mentos. Really.
Well, I mean, we love to have you here. I'm just teasing you.
Absolutely.
Don't get yourself in trouble.
Mr. Manifesto, hello. Xanadu, hello, Xanadu. Hannah.
Father Fish.
Hey, Hannah.
Yes. Andre has a question. He says, Father Fish, will 2 inches of dirt and 3 inches of crushed coral work for a reef tank?
Yeah. You might try to get, if you can do it, you might try to get some sea mud, some mud from a salt body. If you can do that, you can make it yourself. It's no big deal. But if you can get natural mud from the sea, it's going to be it's going to be it's going to have a biology in it, bacteria and so forth, that are native to a salt environment. So it's going to make it much healthier. Kevin's iPad is here. Do you know Kevin? Joey?
The only Kevin I know is Kevin, I think Leon. After that, I don't.
Kevin iPad.
No.
I don't know who Kevin iPad is. And I just made a little speech about this. So Kevin, identify yourself in the chat, please.
Right.
Before trying to come up on
Yeah, that's.
their screen.
Well, Kevin says it was. Kevin says it was him, Father Fish. The Kevin that I know, he says that was him.
Oh, okay. Well, come on back, Kevin. Happy to bring you up. Kevin Long. Oh, all right.
Hello, Sunset.
Oh, there. Yes, I see you. Monster Fish, Kevin Long. Come on back up, Kevin.
Yeah.
Water Culture says our axolotl is called Kevin.
Well, I was that your axolotl trying to get it?
I beg your pardon?
Oh, I'm just making a joke. Never mind. It's just me.
Here's Kevin. Here's Kevin. Hello, Kevin.
Hey, good morning, Joey.
Hi, Kevin. How are you?
Morning,
Good morning. How are you?
Not too bad. How are you guys?
Good. What are you up to today?
Well, hoping to ship out some red root floaters, so I got those. And then hanging out with you guys. I was up at like 3. I think I never get to watch your guys' stream because it's always at like 6 a.m. So
Yeah.
I wanted to make sure I made it this time.
You've not been in your stream before? I'm having a little trouble understanding what you're saying.
I can't generally watch all of the streams because you guys start for me at like 6 a.m.
Oh my. Yeah.
Like 6 or 6:30 a.m. And so I don't get to catch you guys all that often. But since I'm since like 4 today, I thought I'd come in and say hi.
Well, thank you, Kevin. Nice to have you here. Have you got a fish tank you'd like to show us?
Yeah, let's see. I need to turn on the lights for him, but yes. So I just put a few spawning mops in there, but...
What are you breeding?
Well, I'm hoping... I have a few...
Wow.
Get
your spawning mops in there, yep.
Yeah,
so
sure
I should
do.
put Danios and some other... So, I have some shrimp and Danios in that one.
Ah, okay.
In this one, I have a pair of what are they? LRBs. I want to say the Fire and Ice.
Oh, all right.
Oh, okay. You got the guppies. Yeah, the Fire and Ice guppies. Yeah.
The Fire and Ice guppies.
I have some of those
right now. So I have.
I've had mine for like.
But I put them. I just made a breed. I guess it's a breeder box or trap for them because I don't like the ones that I have the other two, but they're so flimsy. Like I've gotten the other 2 net breeders and they're so flimsy to me. So I'm like I'd rather just make it.
Ah, very good.
Here's my orange Neocodina.
Got a dirted substrate there. Look at that.
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
That other one
Good
was
for you.
actually also a dirted substrate.
Nice.
So here's...
Yeah, I like those pots.
Yeah.
Like strawberry pots. They're really nice.
And there's a bunch of babies on the mat in
You
front
got
there.
something on there. Yeah, is that microfauna?
Yes.
Where?
Those little shrimp. Or
Yeah,
Those are baby shrimp.
nice.
yeah, I was say
Those are
those
all
are shrimp, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was looking at the
Little shrimp.
tinier white stuff. Looked like a lot of microfauna.
Yeah, yeah,
Nice. Yeah.
And then
yeah.
here's
Well, that's
my.
what they're over there
Those
eating.
are. This is my fire red Neocardina tank.
Right.
Oh, okay.
And then
Yep. Those are the ones you were asking about the different colors.
so here's volcano guppies. In here.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Hmm. So you like the fancy guppies?
I like guppies, yes. Well,
I do
that
too.
and I can't really get anything else because unfortunately I don't have that big. I don't have much room for other things. So shrimp and guppies were the two that I can actually keep.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Well, they're two of the more interesting fish, really.
What?
They're two of the more interesting fish that you can keep. I mean,
Yes.
they're easy to breed. You get tremendous variety.
And
With them,
they're
you
so
really
much
can
fun.
study genetics, and you can develop lines. It's
They are
really
so
great
much fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I am very happy about that. And I mean, shrimp are also low maintenance, so that's one
Yeah.
of the things that I kind of like is you don't have to do. I feel like set and forget is the easiest way for shrimp.
Yeah, the lazy fish keeper. There's a lot
Mhm.
to be said for that.
Lazy or efficient?
Yeah.
Right.
You say lazy, I
agree,
say
Kevin.
efficient.
You're a smart boy. Yeah.
And
That's
then
right,
this is
Kevin.
my
Good
yellow
morning, Reed.
tank. So I have some yellow Neocardina in this tank. I need more plants, but that'll happen in time.
Where do you live,
Well,
Kevin?
That's for sure. You live out on the West Coast, correct, Kevin? Bay Area, you said?
I live in the Bay Area.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's kind of hard because for me, everything's so hard. Yeah, no, I live right near Stanford.
Okay.
Okay. Yep.
In Palo Alto, so it's not too bad, but it's harder for me. There aren't a ton, unless I go to say SF. There's not a ton around here, and eating is so expensive. So we usually go like to San Jose and San Francisco.
Yeah, you need to get out. You need to get out in the wilds. Try to get out to a creek or a stream where you can collect some things.
There aren't very many around here, though.
I'm sure you're right. You're gonna have to go. You're gonna have to go inland.
Yeah, so it's hard because the sea is not too far, but there's a bunch of it's really hard around here because I'd love to go collect like some plants and stuff, but there's just nothing around here.
You may need to get into some long drives. I drive an hour and a half one way to collect certain fish that I like.
Yeah, I can't drive though.
Yeah.
Oh dear. Oh, that's a problem.
Yes. Thank you, Father Fish.
Well, thank you, Kevin. I'm happy to have you visit.
Thank you.
Nice to have you here. And I
tanks.
appreciate you getting up. And look, it's still, is that your window? It's still dark outside there.
Still dark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice to have you get up in the morning to visit
Thank
with
you guys.
us, Kevin. Take care.
Bye.
Bye for now.
Bye, Kevin.
Very nice. Very
Yes.
nice.
Oh, he's a nice young man.
Thank you, Kevin.
Talk to him a little. He's a good boy.
You bet.
Yeah.
You bet.
Good morning, the bird dude. Good morning. Rohan, hi. Haven't seen you for a little bit. So,
Rohan.
Yeah. No, Kevin seems like he's doing a great
That's
job.
Rick Murphy. Lazy
Taking his
fish.
own moms and his breeding boxes. He's busy. That's good
Yeah,
to
I
see.
made a note of that. Lazy fish keeper. I think that's a good tagline.
Well,
I
it
need to
is,
use
but you
it.
know, it makes it sound like I don't know. Kevin was right. You know, the efficient fish keeper.
Or the patient fish.
It sounds nicer than the lazy fish keeper. You know.
Really.
I don't think that's gonna reel me right in. Yeah, that lazy fish keeper.
Right. Bird dude.
Anyway.
Bird dude is here.
John?
Bird dude.
Yes. Absolutely. So.
Yeah, Compass
Water culture.
Let's set up a breeding tank. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. He says horticulture comes in with convenient fish keeper. Rohan, you've been busy with your marine biology course. You finished that up. Okay, so you've been busy, Rohan. Good for you. Good for you. So stick with it. Just saying, lazy and efficient.
Right.
We're gonna get them all.
Fish keeper. Christina says, my husband surprised me with a big bag of sand for her first started tank today. Bravo. There's a loving husband.
Now
Give you a bag of sand.
I was just going to say, that's a very supportive husband. That's right. And the crazy thing is, you probably were excited to get a bag of sand.
You bet. You bet.
It's very useful.
Andres wants to know if electric blue rams can be kept in alkaline water. Andres, it depends entirely on where these fish have been bred and grown up. There are some farmers here in Florida that grow rams, some of the nicest rams around, and they're grown out in hard alkaline water. So I get those routinely. They're fairly inexpensive at wholesale, and I do really well with them, keeping them in hard alkaline water. But if you're getting fish that are grown out in soft acid water, you're going to have a problem with that. So you need to find out where they're from and what the water conditions are. If they are fish that are from Florida, they're going to be fine in hard alkaline. If they are from the Far East, that may not be the case. And I've had rams from the Far East that I've had trouble with, and I'm sure that's why.
Right. I'm sure. Good morning, Kim. Thanks for coming in. Hey, while everybody's in here, can you hit the like button?
Yeah.
Just keep reminding you guys.
47 and 72, 25. We're at 1/3. 1/3 of you watching have not hit the like button. 1/3 of you. 1 out of 3. Now, here's the problem with that. It's not the like button that's the issue. That's not the issue. The issue is when you sign up as a member, you need to hit the bell and then hit all on the bell. And that's really critical because that determines completely how many copies of my videos get sent out. If you don't hit that bell, that reduces the number of videos that are sent out by a factor of 10. So it's substantial and significant.
Thank you, Sunset Jen. Thank you. Well, and even if you're not an actual member, just if you subscribe, hit the notification bell. I'm sure all those things help.
Well, I'm talking about subscribers. Yeah, I was referring to subscribers. I'm sorry. That was
Okay, well, you said member, so I was like,
I did.
okay, yeah. I just was like, even if you,
Yeah, I know.
you did, okay. So
I'm an old
okay.
guy with a mixed up brain. Brain doesn't always work right. But you
well,
get the.
okay, well, that's okay. I was just trying to help out.
That's
Just
fine.
trying to slide that in there, you know.
I appreciate the clarification.
When I can. So compartmental fish says, when I set up my dirter tank, is the potting compost required a certain kind, organic, added peat, etc.?
You can do whatever you want. I see it a little further down. Let's see. A monster fish y'all uses organic potting soil. I do too.
Organic.
Yeah, I use organic.
Yeah.
But then I'll add.
I do too.
I will add fertilizers, certain kinds of fertilizers to my infusion,
Right.
to my mix.
Sometimes I
My
add a
bread
little.
hasn't raised any of the hardwater rams. Chevy Fish says. Yeah, I have actually. And done pretty well with them.
Hello, T-Bone. Oh, you know what it is, T-Bone? T-Bone, our time changed here in the U.S. That's why we're early.
Yeah, we just
go
jumped up an hour. That's right.
Right, we jumped up an hour. That's why we seem early to you.
Worse, doesn't it?
Yeah, so it's harder for probably you guys in Australia.
377 is if I watch on mobile device, I hit the like button, but I usually watch on my TV. There is a like button on the TV. You need to find.
I don't know where you find it. People have said that.
Well, it's on YouTube on TV.
Okay.
I haven't done it for so long, I've forgotten how. But you could. There's a bar you can open at the bottom.
I've never done it.
Oh,
okay. But good morning, Tree 77.
Hello, Cody, and I agree about.
Well, people have been talking.
I suppose daylight
people have been
savings.
talking about these. We just.
Yeah, daylight savings made sense when before there was electricity, I guess.
I would kind of agree, and but nowadays, like you said, with electricity and everything, I kind of feel like, could we just stick with something, one or the other?
Yeah, right. It's
and
like
I can't even 100% give an opinion on which is better. Depends on the time of year, obviously.
Yeah, well, the problem is it puts children out on the street waiting for buses in the dark. And there's something very wrong with a culture that insists on doing that.
But but even still, just with the sunrise and everything, it's like, I think there's no way to avoid it. Well, start school later, I guess. I don't know.
Start school later,
That's
right?
a whole conversation.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, that we don't need to, I guess, get into. But start school later so that they're not out there so early.
Right.
That would be my.
Yeah, they start school based on the bus drivers rather than the students. Preset aquarium heaters, Patrick asked. My problem with them is they're not set high enough. They need to be. You need to be able to set your temperature at 82. Having it come up between 75 and 78 is relatively worthless.
Yeah, I just don't like a preset heater. Because there are times where you have to adjust the temperature, and you can't.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So what's the point?
But that is what they sell. That's included typically in those starter kits because obviously it must be cheap to manufacture that preset heater.
Yeah.
It comes with every kit you buy, a preset heater, pretty much. So So I don't. It must have something to do with the cost.
I think
Good
they're
morning,
just
trees.
very cheap to make. Well, they have right. They're just
right. There's one less component they have to include, so they're cheap to manufacture.
Right.
It's all. I mean,
And that
it's all
component,
about the.
if you think about it, that component is the one that causes the heater to fail, because it's
Well, there's that too. Yeah.
it's a device that has to go down into it from outside of it in order to make the adjustment. So it's a much finer, more engineer-oriented complexity.
Well, and where Dunlop has a good point. Less failure in a preheat, less return. Sure.
Yeah, true enough. Also cheaper to make.
You know, I was going to say cheaper to make it. It's all about, in that sense, I think the bottom line for manufacturing. But I don't like them, because what if I have to increase my temperature for whatever reason? Let's say you have echo, or maybe you're trying to breathe something, being stuck on 76. You got to buy another heater. That's exactly right. Yeah. So I don't see the point in them personally. I'd like to think we're all smart enough that we could adjust the temperature.
Reverend Sherrock.
They haven't lost our ability to adjust the temperature. Mm-hmm. Perfect. No, I agree. You're making your own compost. What pump am I running, Andres? The filter is just an Aqua Clear 110, and then I just have a Whisper pump running my Airstone. I just have two things in there. Simple, nothing complicated, just a big Airstone. Oh, yeah. They're just saying they were afraid to add something to change the water chemistry of the dirt.
Yeah, I'll tell you about doing dirted. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, keep in mind
I
that
do
you're capping with 2 inches of sand. And the reason you're doing that is to make sure that dirt stays down where it belongs. It does not get up into the water column.
Right.
So you're really creating a barrier. Now, it's what we refer to as a semi-permeable barrier, like skin is a semi-permeable barrier. Things will get through your skin into your body, but it protects your body from a whole lot of other stuff. And the same thing is true with the sand. It allows for a very slow process of waste product and nutrients and water flowing through it. But it is so slow that it effectively prevents the nutrients in the dirt from getting up through that sand into the water column, at least to any degree and with any alacrity, with any speed.
Right. It's like a slow leak kind of thing.
So the sand is critical. The sand is critical in it, and you cannot replace it with gravel at the same depth because it's not dense enough. Gravel allows too much water flow. So to use gravel, you've got to have 5 or 6 inches in order to be able to control that water flow. With sand, it's less, and the finer the sand, frankly, the better. The sand cannot be too fine. Particulate matter will get through it regardless. And there are some pretty fine sands. Art sand, for example, the kind of sand you buy to do artwork, is extremely fine sand. In fact, it's so fine that it floats. When you put it in the water, you got a little bubbles of sand floating on the top, which can take days to sink. Doesn't hurt anything, but it demonstrates how fine that sand really is. And yet, it is just as effective as a way of permitting waste mold from getting down into the deeper levels. I use it in bedded tanks all the time because it's colorful, it's pretty, it's because of its density, you can use less of it. So it's more effective at 1 inch, for example.
I'm gonna just say, I've seen where Dunlap's come in. Good morning, Emily, Randy Roman. Good morning.
Scoring 36.
It's new. Welcome. Good morning.
Welcome,
Yes.
Scoring 36. I guess sand from the creek. Absolutely. And that's probably the best thing you can do. And that just earned you a wrench, Scoring 36. Because you're obviously on the team here.
Right. And Chris Trapp is wondering what your take is on possible disease transfer through nets on a fish. How you feel about that, or how you may handle that?
I think if you've got disease in a tank, then you need to be careful about transferring it. If you don't, I don't see what the point is. I don't have disease in tanks that I'm unaware of, at least not for long. It may go on. Here's something. I've been thinking about this. Let me show you something. These rainbow cichlids, and now, of course, they're not doing it. Yeah, they are a little bit. I want you to look at this behavior. Can you see these guys up in the corner? There are only 2 of them there, right? 3 of them. 2 of them. There are 5 in there, and they routinely collect in the corner of the tank, right up at the top, and just hang there. They've been doing this for about 5 days. Now, normally, when I see that kind of behavior, I begin looking for disease, for ick, for example. There's nothing on them. I've kicked the temperature up, so you can see I put a heater in. I've had it up to 86, brought it back down. It's at about 82 now, but they are still hanging, not constantly. I mean, they move around, but they look at that. See that? He's not acting normal. That quivering action.
Yeah.
I find that troubling. It's usually a sign of disease. It's been 5 days like that, and I haven't seen a thing yet. So I don't know. It may be that they don't like the water. It may be they don't like that creek water. I can't tell. I haven't seen anything on them yet. What's the temperature? Yeah, it's like 82.
Well,
maybe I'll kick it back up again.
Yeah.
What are
Well, I
culture?
was going to say, I mean, obviously, yeah.
Water culture talking about driving the pH down to under 4.5. You know, I find it enormously difficult not only to do that, but to keep it there. So I don't make the effort. I prefer,
Right.
I'm in the lazy fish keeper school. You need to talk to Petra Man. Petra Man is managing his every aspect of his aquarium, essentially moment to moment. It's difficult to do that when you've got a lot of tanks. If you got 1 or 2 or 3 tanks, then you can focus on it because you have to care for it every single day. You know, maintaining 4.5 pH is not a simple thing to do, and it's not a simple thing to keep it there. You know, I have enormous respect for people who do that and are able to sustain it. I don't have the discipline, frankly, to do it. and I've got too much else going on to pay attention to it. I don't have a scientific bent in that sense, at least not a disciplined one. You know, I'm interested in the science of things and why they do what they do, but to sit there all day long and manipulate something and maintain it, I don't have the patience for that. So I don't do it. But I have enormous respect for the people who do. That's not in any way a put down on anyone other than myself.
David Fellows is wondering, he brought home some clown watches and raised the temperature to 86, probably as a preventative to make sure they were okay, ick-wise. But he's saying that they're loving the temperature, and he wants to know if he can leave it up there permanently. He feels like they're active and playing a lot.
Yeah.
How do you feel? Yeah. Okay.
Stephanie
so
wants
I want
to
to
know
go back
that,
to, there's a question earlier, Father Fish,
Yeah,
that
go ahead.
I feel we didn't really finish. And it was the question on, you know, the inch of dirt and the couple inches of crushed coral for the saltwater tank. And then we started talking about that you said they could collect the mud. But let's say they're going to go with the dirt and the crushed coral. Don't you think the crushed coral is too coarse? Don't you think there'd be some leaching with the dirt through that when you do like
Not
some sand and
necessarily. The issue with crushed coral is you get a lot of dust. It's not uniform. If you're breaking up coral, now you can buy it. What I would recommend is that you get out your trusty maul and mash up broken pieces of coral yourself. Get it broken down. What it'll do is it'll sift. It'll sift itself naturally. So on the bottom layers, you'll get finer and finer and finer strata as you put it in. You want to put it in fairly deep, though, like 3 to 4 inches deep, and let it stratify.
Yeah, it needs to be deeper. But will that, you know, it tends to get crusty and become solid. I'm just asking, you know, because that's what it does in a freshwater tank.
Right.
They do the same thing in coral.
Well,
so
yeah.
Shouldn't you mix that with sand to get it off to you?
You can. It doesn't really help.
I just feel like wouldn't be good.
Yeah, if you're going to use crushed coral,
sorry, I just feel
it's okay. If you're going to use crushed coral, you need to periodically, every few months or so, stir up the top of it because it is water soluble, and as such, it can do exactly what Joey is suggesting. It can form a crust, which acts as an absolute barrier to water or anything else getting down in it. So the solution is very simple, though. You just stir it up periodically. Not deep, maybe 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch. Move a stick or your net or something around, just you maybe skim the top of it and redump it. Something like that that will keep that encrustation from occurring, because that is a real issue and it can really happen.
Yeah. Sorry, it was in my mind. I was like, I think we just need to address it a little bit more. I feel like we didn't finish really talking about that.
Yeah. It's not going to happen down deep. What happens is, excuse me, bacteria lands on every single tiny little particle, like every grain of sand, every dust particle, every little piece of crushed coral. And that bacteria prevents it from encrusting. It keeps the granules separate from each other. So it keeps it a living environment, which will, as it goes deeper, will prevent the whole thing from becoming a solid block. But you do want to watch the top of it and make sure that doesn't happen. if you've got pretty good biological activity in your tank, particularly on the surface, that you can bring in with things like live rock, then that overcomes the problem because it, again, allows bacteria and other micro animals, algae and so forth, allows them to grow on the surface of all those tiny little bits and prevent them from being able to seal up to form a cover or a surface, a blockage.
Right. Good morning.
So you can overcome it.
Welcome.
I think there's been a lot more interest in saltwater systems among saltwater keepers to maintain a living or organism foundation than there has been that level of interest among freshwater hobbyists. And it's more as the pity because a freshwater tank that has a lot of microscopic life in it, that has scuds living in it, paramecium living in it, rotifer and so forth, lots of little annelids and other kinds of worm things down in the substrate. Those tanks are vastly healthier tanks than those that are attempts at maintaining a sterile environment. A sterile environment, need I remind anyone, a sterile environment is an invitation to disease. Disease being the explosion of a given species of bacteria that simply overwhelms the ability of the system to sustain itself. That is prevented from happening by having a wide diversity of bacteria and other microscopic life in the tank. And you do that by bringing it in and by creating an environment in which it can thrive. And we're going to go into that in our master class on natural aquariums.
Good. Very good. Well, that's going to be a big subject, so you'll have lots to talk about.
Why is Christina Whitaker, talking about the baseball season?
Well, maybe she likes baseball.
I bet you she works in the
I haven't
industry.
been following. Maybe. Maybe.
Stephanie, baseball.
Worked on that. I smuggled a bed. I bet it in a little water bottle on the airplane. That's what I was smuggling, and a few snails.
Oh, nice.
Oh, Christina says yes, and maybe she does work in. Because it's baseball season. Well, I guess that's true too. It's coming into baseball season. But where the heck goes salesman? That's true. I'm sure. Opening days in a few weeks. See, I don't follow baseball, so I don't know. I don't pay attention.
Yeah, Chevy is saying saltwater hermit crabs, snails, and amphipods are great crushed coral gravel cleaners. Yes, indeed they are.
Yes, I'm sure. I'm so sure. Well, it appears that James and Waterculture have been having a whole conversation because he's answering with, I had him on your reading up off the chart, page 6.8. No harm to the tank tub. inhabitants. Yeah.
Well, lower pH detoxifies ammonia. And Chevy says it's always about balance. Yes, it is.
It is true.
But balance is balance. Now, here we go. Balance is not a delicate thing. Rather, it's the opposite. Balance is a very stable, strong thing. David Fellows is in the gallery here in the waiting room. Shall we bring up David and see what he has to offer? Hello, David.
Hello there.
How are you?
Yeah, fine.
Looking at your lovely tank.
Yeah, I've got these plants here, the Sagittarius, and they're ripping them to pieces. Absolutely, well, the big one is he absolutely loves the roots by the looks of things. Is what sort of plants can I get to stop the clowns from eating? The bigger ones seem to be okay, and so does the Java fern, but they don't. They seem to like ripping up the Sagittarius. I've just put that in as well, typically.
I think what is
So
it?
you found loaches are
Oh,
in
it's
your
the
plant?
clowns. The loaches are doing that.
Is it the clown
Yeah,
loaches
the
that
clown,
are
you can just see there's the big one underneath the log. He's being a bit shy.
Okay.
Oh, there's one over there. It's him. He loves ripping up the. You just see him. He'll come. There.
I would simply do more, David.
Just put more plants in.
Yeah, that's what I would do.
Right, excellent.
Generally, the fish will go after one plant, not even one species, but one member of a species.
That's it.
So if you have a lot more in there, they'll chew one of them down to the nub before they'll take on after another one.
Brilliant. So add more in. Oh, that's the answer. Brilliant. Thank you, Farfish.
You bet.
Your
Looks great.
really good.
I like it. Nice looking tank.
They do like that temperature, though.
Yeah, look at that.
And the
Yeah.
colours on them are amazing.
Yeah, they do. They do not like it cold.
No.
They don't like to have cold feet.
There's one thing that worries me, though, because of that high temperature. What's it like for bacteria? Will it increase any bacterial problems?
Only if you don't have a balance. And if you're overfeeding.
No,
you get too much waste in there, it'll create a problem. No. But you look like you've got a pretty good balance in there.
I'm feeding every 3 days. There's 13 in there. So I'm trying to restrict it because, as you say, they eat it, they poo it, they eat it, they poo it, they eat it, poo it. So I'm sticking to a 3-day regime, basically.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, controlling the feed regimen is really key.
Yes, and it's bloodworm as well. So it's
yeah, you bet. Live food. Yeah,
That's a good tip. The chicken was brilliant. They like that.
Water culture does not like your choice of fish at all.
Does he not?
To each their own. Yeah.
That's it. I like clowns.
It's an enormously popular fish.
It is, and I'm getting a
colorful, they're active. They can get big.
Yes, I know, definitely. Well, I'm going bigger in tank size, so that's going to be the next thing for them.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think it's that he doesn't like the fish. He just said they're going to outgrow that tank. That's all.
No, he doesn't like the fish.
I know that. Oh, yes.
He's commented on it before.
Where is it? Oh, okay. I was like, I didn't see that. I just saw that he thought
today.
that.
Yeah,
but,
yesterday.
I mean, hey, I like clown lunches.
Yeah, I do too. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, thank you.
A lot of people don't like goldfish, but I love mine.
Yeah,
right.
I love goldfish.
So as you said, to each their own.
She's a goldfish person. She loves her goldfish.
Right.
And I'm
nice tank, David.
Yeah.
But
No,
thank you very much.
Thank
Thank you for the info.
Like,
I'll let you get.
thank
You
you,
bet.
David. Thanks.
Thanks, David.
Good morning. Good morning, One Dirty Fight. Good morning.
One Dirty Plenty. Hello, hello. Diagnosis MTS. Right. There it is.
Yeah,
There it
Christina
is.
says I have 3 pound loaches, perfect excuse for a 100-gallon tank purchase. Yes.
You
that
bet.
Sounds great.
You bet. Right.
But I mean, I really what it comes down to is, do we need an excuse?
You need all you need is
Combine
space.
anywhere.
And if you don't have space, you get rid of the couch or the table.
Well, right. My problem is, I mean, I think there's occasionally a tank that comes up, a used tank, but I can't buy anything larger than a 90-gallon tank in this state. And, I look at some of the sales, and there's never anything in the New England area. I'm like, does anybody carry 125-gallon tanks? I can't seem to find them anywhere for sale.
Huh.
It's crazy.
Huh.
Well, Chevy, you're right. People don't like convict cichlids, but I do. I have a few different
Well,
colors.
there you go. Right.
I have calico convict cichlids that are beautiful. And
Yeah, I've got a tank of them back here.
I keep 2 of the most hated, probably goldfish and convict cichlids.
Right.
And most people don't like either of those.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
But that's okay. I just keep what I like. I don't expect everybody to like what I do. Oh, watercraft computer rack assistant. Yeah. Yeah. I know. Well, that's why I keep looking at the garage. I mean, I could do a lot in the garage, but I feel like it's really saying I'm taking the next step to being overcommitted, which I'm already overcommitted in my life. So how many?
Yeah, a fish room is a different order of commitment. It really is.
Exactly. Oh,
I
says
don't
the
have
same
a fish
thing.
room here. I've got 11 tanks, and this is really not a fish room. This is a display.
Yeah.
It's like having one big tank. Only I've got 9 little tanks, and there's no room for anything else. I'm not I might do some jars with bettas or something like that, but I'm not going to be doing any more tanks as such. So it's not like having a fish room.
Right. No.
But
I'm sorry. Everybody's
is,
talking about these bigger tanks.
Yeah. Your problem is you have a fish room without accepting responsibility for having a fish room, because you've got a fish room. You got more than one.
Oh God, yes. I'm talking about taking it even to another level if I take over the garage.
I understand. Right.
But anyway, there's a lot of talk about the bigger tanks. Gnarly saying they can only get the 90s. Chevy Fish, Petco, and they will not order a large tank for me. Will not.
Really?
Trust me, I've asked. Yeah, they will not. Absolutely will not.
They don't want to pay for bringing it in. It's a shipping issue.
I guess. Right. So they won't do it. Patrick says I can come to New York. They have bigger tanks there. Maybe they do. But, I've looked, even let's say if Petco or somebody's having a sale, I'll go in there. They'll say, find a store that has one. I did that one time. Closest one I could find was New Jersey. I'm like, this is ridiculous. It's hard to get big tanks. That's my point. Up here in the Northeast, hard to get big tanks.
Water culture is saying, Father Fish,
you
should dig a channel from that stream, which is a tidal creek, into your garden and make a nice big natural pond. The difficulty is that my garden area is substantially above the water level, like 5 to 6 feet. So if I have to dig down 5 feet in order to hit that water level. So the solution is to do a pump filled pond, which is basically what I've got right now, sitting on the surface. I'm also in a community where I don't think I can get away with digging a pond because I don't own the land. I lease the land. I'm in a trailer park, so and the land is leased from the corporation. So I probably can't get away with putting a pond in. I'm way back here in the corner. I mean, I might get away with it. And there's an area that's pretty isolated from here that nobody ever goes to, where I probably could do such a thing. We'll see how long I'm here and how industrious I get.
Yeah. Or you could just do the crazy large tub.
Yeah, I've got one.
I mean, actually, my feet.
I got one that's leaking. Richie is back. He said the bees did not appreciate his visit today.
Maybe not. My feed store had like this huge sort of watering trough looking thing last year.
Oh yeah.
It was 10 feet, across, and it was a couple feet deep, and it was just like that would make like a great thing just to put in the garage. But
Right.
I asked him, I'm like, can you get it in black? It was blue. I didn't want blue. And they were like, no, it only comes in blue. And I'm like, oh, yuck. I wanted it in black. But that thing would have been great. And you
probably could get one in black.
Yeah. Well, this particular company didn't make it in black, I guess.
Yeah.
The one I wanted, the one I saw. But anyway, but I really don't like the pond thing, so I was just like, so don't even do it because it's not my thing. Good morning, HB. Welcome.
James Handy is giving you a contact.
Is he? Did I miss it?
HB's dad scored a 100-gallon free curb alert.
Well, you watch people and they are like, oh, I got this today, I got that today, or they're reading from their area. Yeah, oh, there's 125, there's this, there's that, and it's like, not that many at my way. I could, 55 gallons all day long, sure, but nothing of any size, typically. Place a call to see if you can get. All right. Is that in New Hampshire, James? Is it a place in New Hampshire? I'm just curious. Anyway. Oh, it is New Hampshire Pets. Okay. Yep. Okay. Yeah, I mean that's definitely. I will have to order it from someplace that's willing to order it. That's a thing. Hi, Brian. Good morning.
How are we doing here?
I haven't even looked, but if everybody could hit the like button, that would be awesome. Thank you. Yeah, well, see, that's the thing. Waterculture is like if I'm going to start going into 6-foot tank, I probably do want to set up my garage.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not even because the house can take the weight. I mean, this thing's built to drive a Mack truck into, but I just start into, like you said, if it leaks and goes all over the place, it's like, go down into the basement and ruin everything, yeah.
Yeah, that's the point where my landlord is going to evict me, is when I get one of these tanks blowing out and flooding and ruining his new floor. I'm okay here. I'm on a concrete slab, but next to me is the wall, and on the other side of that wall is a floor that will be ruined by water.
Yeah. Good morning, New England. I've Yeah, well, that's the thing is if you get an amount, you know, it's just the law of averages. You get an amount of fish tanks in here, eventually, one of them is going to leak. And I've seen what a 10-gallon did to my floor, let alone 125 gallons.
Right.
New England Endler, I do actually buy food and stuff from Ken's Fish, but I guess I wasn't maybe realizing that they had the big tanks. I don't know.
We are at 10:30.
Own a good wet vac. Yes,
You
yes,
want to
we
draw a
are.
line
But,
in the
yeah,
sand?
sure you need a wet vac. Sure.
Right.
Oh, and
I saved my
Vipin's here. If I could
What?
introduce Drift, just the Vipin had a question coming in, and I think they've been here
What is the
before.
question?
Can you
I
give them a
can't
wrench?
read
They're
it.
right at 10:30.
Read
Fish,
it.
any thoughts on curing driftwood or how to introduce this? Father Fish, is there any thoughts on curing driftwood and how to introduce this into an existing natural aquarium?
Yeah, that's a really good one. Let's do this. I've got a couple of videos up on driftwood, but let's hold this one for tomorrow because it's a more extensive piece and we're out of time. But I would like to deal with that. Let's remember to hold that. Bring that up again tomorrow. Who was that, Richie?
No, it's Vipin, and they're the only ones down there without a wrench.
Okay. And we'll give you a wrench tomorrow too. Meanwhile,
Cody's asking to play
a little tune.
I wouldn't say necessarily often, but when they do, trust me, it's a mess.
Really, you don't want to
especially in your house. No.
You don't want to do it.
Okay. Thank you, everyone, for coming in and being with us and asking questions and sharing with us today.
Good to be with you guys.